Hi folks, this is Mike Snett. This is the Office for Truth. I haven't made a video for a while, but I wanted to make one. I had a response. I was responding to a comment. I hadn't made one. I got to get inspired here. Anyway, I was watching the News Nation in the Dan Abrams program, and he had on Chris Cuomo. And I guess he's coming to News Nation. They're going to be doing a program from CNN. Here's my take, and here's what I have a problem with. I want to watch News Nation. I don't want to watch CNN. I like more of their even balanced thing. Now that they're bringing him here, I was bummed. But one of the things about Chris Cuomo is, despite all the controversies with his brother and other accusations against him, I want to talk about something that really disturbed me that I saw in his program. And this was a number of years ago. They were doing a lot of the Russia stuff and Donald Trump and all those things. And all of a sudden, in the midst of that particular hour show on that night, he wanted to bring on this gentleman from the Catholic Church, a priest that he knew, and that was how he teased the segment. Anyway, when the segment started, he starts talking to the gentleman, and he knew him, of course, and he says, for full disclosure, this particular priest, he was the one that married me and my wife. And so I know him, and how you doing? Anyway, what had been going on is the Attorney General in the state of Illinois, is just like across the other 50 states, have been investigating those monsters from the Catholic Church and the child rapists in the Catholic Church. This is just another city, another state, another place where the Catholic Church has been hiding, lying, deceiving, abusing, being the monsters that they are, right? This is 20 some odd years into this, since it really took place in 01, 02. We're 20 years later, they're still hiding, still arguing, still fighting, still trying to dump on the people that are harmed. Anyway, this guy comes on there and he says, so the attorney general in the state of Illinois is doing an investigation. You're with the Chicago diocese, so is he going to find anything? I can't remember. He goes, are they going to find anything? This is what Chris Cuomo asked. And the guy goes, no, they're not. Nope, they're not going to find anything. Oh, okay. And then here was the real reason that he wanted to bring his little buddy on there, is because you had that 50-some-year Vatican official, this was a couple years ago, who was telling people about how the Pope was aware of the abuse, like every other person in leadership. Remember that all the abuse right next to Argentina, Pope is from Argentina, of all the abuse that happened there and all the abuse taking place. But he's the one person who doesn't know. Remember, who's the 50-year Vatican? What do we care? We're not interested in the names of the people in the leadership structure, as if we're trying to, it's like some sort of, we're trying to know the family tree of the organization as it stands. We just want these poor people to be harmed, and we want accountability, and we want them to be held accountable. Why would someone care, in the Catholic Church especially, when you're telling your church, that you're miffed that somebody is complaining about the Pope? Like the Pope doesn't know, like anybody, he knows the same thing as everybody else does. But him and his buddy, they both turned up their faces, and they started knocking on this long-time, decades-long official for implicating the Pope, as well as everybody else that knows. And that was the whole reason he brought him on here. Typical Catholic garbage again, that we're going to, after all the abuse and the misery, we're going to come on here. And Chris Cuomo wants to make himself out to be, I'm such a great guy, Yeah, I really care for my family and all that. Here's what I would say to his wife. Aren't you embarrassed to have your picture on your mantle and in your marriage gown, and him in his tux, and having this guy from the Catholic Church who just lied on national television to your husband about that the Attorney General wasn't going to find anything? The Attorney General found hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of children that were harmed. Just a little while after that interview took place. Did he bring him back on there and ask him about it again? Nope. You see what kind of person that Chris Cuomo is? He talks about having thick skin. That's because he grows up in some arrogant family of some sort of entitled, arrogant people. And then they act like they're family first and some sort of arrogance. That's what got him in trouble at CNN, because he didn't give a damn about anybody else, but trying to cover for his brother's own doing. So I'm just disappointed in News Nation that they would bring that guy there, It's bad enough that another one of their Leland Vitter keeps bringing on Bill O'Reilly. Like, how does that go over the women? Like, isn't there any women that work at News Nation that aren't they bothered that they bring that guy around? And every time they're bringing him on a segment, he's yelling and screaming on top of it. I would think that would make somebody at News Nation feel uncomfortable. So I don't know where the station is going. It really caught me tonight when I knew he was going to go there. I thought he was gone and done. And I just remember this segment. It just so bothered me for how many people have been harmed by the Catholic Church. And what's the latest thing the Catholic Church has to do? The Pope's in Canada for the 4,000 plus children they killed, they raped, they beat to death, they starved to death, they murdered in Canada. And those indigenous people, how horrible can it possibly be? And that's just, nobody cares. And he brought him on there solely so, and he could lie. He hasn't brought him back on there to go back over how many children were harmed. Once again, that particular priest doesn't know anything ever that's taken place. Just more covering for the Catholic Church. So I don't think it's a good thing that he's going to come on that show. And I'm bummed because I started liking watching the show. But I just think it's a bad news for that station. I think that Chris Cuomo is bad news. And he's nothing what he says to be. Neither is his family. And these are just more people who have just indifference everywhere they go, whether it's politics or on TV, especially when it comes to their Catholic religion and the way that they treat children and what they've done. And that should be his number one goal, is trying to defend those children. But in that interview, because he can lie all day long and say that's not the way that it is. But we can just play back the video anytime that he wants to. So I'll come on any show that he's on, and I'll debate him for as long as he wants to. Because I'll sit there and tell him how it is, because it's horrible what he did with that man who's some nothing. And they're going to act like, and he uses his power and his authority to attack somebody he doesn't know or care about, because the precious Pope is being implicated along with the rest of the Catholic Church of being nothing. And now once again they're in another place apologizing for murdering children. So again, this is Mike Snett, the Office of Truth, and thanks for watching.